Oh, boots. Oh.
Drunk hitting hard when I swing through H-time. Cup full of oil and an orange kush sweet. Cause this is how we do it in that 713. My candy red paint cocked up on foe. Shocking and biting
Yeah.
the south side ho. DJ Screw got me falling.
What's up?
This is how we do it in that 713. And y'all know.
What is going on? Happy Monday, folks. We got some bass in the music today. I'm
glad you
liking
turned
it.
that up because I need that.
We are banging. Swanging and banging, that what they say? Is that what the
Yes,
kids say?
swanging and banging.
Swanging and banging. How are you doing, Jeff Michael? Jeff Michael, Lauren Leal here with you, of course, SWB, as Jeff likes to say.
Sports with balls.
Giving you some studio action tonight. And then, of course, Thursday we'll be back out at Christian's Tailgate. But tonight, whoa, we got a load of information to talk about.
Wow.
So much going on.
What? Think too much of Week 18 in the NFL. I didn't. I was like, there's some games that are okay coming up, and some were going to be interesting. But the last game of the season in Week 18, some people are saying was the most incredible football game of all time. Like, the implication, everything combined.
The implications. Nothing. I mean, just incredible game, and of course, we're going to get to the season finale of Week 18 of the regular season. But we got so much more to talk about too on tonight's show. Not just that game, but man, last night was just incredible.
Before we get into, because we don't talk a lot of NBA right now. The NBA to me, I don't really watch or pay too much attention. I mean, because we're in sports, we have to. But like, I'd watch full games or anything until about 10, 15 games left in the regular season. But did you see the dunk by Ja Morant and the blocked shot that he did? It was unbelievable. His head was at the rim and his arms are like he grabbed the ball with both hands almost at the top of the backboard. This Ja Morant kid, he's been compared. I know, look, y'all are going to freak out, but he's been compared to by some ex-professional NBA players to like the next Michael Jordan.
Oh,
which
what?
is, I mean,
Who are they playing?
He's that good. He's unbelievable. I forgot who Memphis was playing last night, but the kid is phenomenal. His leaping ability, he had to duck. He was doing an alley-oop dunk last night, and he had to duck because he was going to hit his head on the rim. And he's only like, what, 6'6", 6'7". He's must watch NBA, and I don't say that about a lot at all. Ja Morant is the kid is unreal.
And it's funny you mentioned him because I've been hearing a lot of noise about Klay Thompson and the Warriors. Are they automatically going to be in the championship game this year? Are they going to be contenders? Are they going to win it all? So already having those discussions in the NBA, but like we said, football. Season finale last night. Some news came out today that could possibly get back into the headlines with Deshaun Watson and opening to free agency and seeing where he's going to go. But allegedly he wanted to act in Miami back whenever those trade talks were talking. But Brian Flores, well, he was cut. He's not with the team anymore. He's not the head coach of the Dolphins. So what does this mean for Deshaun Watson?
This guy, and we're going to get into this in a little bit, but how do you fire a guy? He's the hottest coach in the NFL, by far. And he had beaten the Patriots. Look at the list of teams that he'd beaten already and won 7 of his last 8 football games. What? And you're firing this guy? Look, he's the last coach that got fired that I'm worried about getting a job. Like he's going to have his pick of the litter, and it's going to be amazing. The guy did an incredible job with Miami, incredible, and they fired him. It doesn't make much sense, but he's going to get a lot more money. He did a great job with them. I mean, look, he had 2 winning seasons, one with Ryan Fitzpatrick and one with a hurt Tua Tagovailoa.
Okay.
So.
And getting back to Deshaun Watson, what was mentioned, getting back to him, what was mentioned, what if he were to be interviewed by the Texans? Now, I will say David Culley was not let go today, which normally, that's what happened. We saw what happened today with all the fired coaches.
Yep.
But if Deshaun Watson wants that marriage with Brian Flores and he comes to Houston and then Watson's activated, what?
Well, Miami was one of Watson's destinations, and there were rumors that the Texans and Miami had already had a trade done, but Watson would not settle out of court. Now, the thing is that Deshaun Watson was going to settle these cases out of court. He was going to be able to get traded. He didn't want settling because that would mean an admission of guilt. And so that being said, Deshaun Watson did not settle out of court. Therefore, the trade did not go through with Miami. It was like 3 picks. It was Tua, and there was a couple other players. But from what you were saying earlier, the Texans have set a target trade date for Deshaun Watson before free agency opens on March 16th. So you're looking at less than months from now, Deshaun Watson being in a new uniform, and they're probably with a new head coach at one of these teams that fired somebody today. It's a great topic for the next 2 months, but they want him gone because they want the draft picks. They locked up, the Texans locked up the number 3 draft pick this past week, and now they're going to get rid of Deshaun Watson. They could have 4 draft picks. Mm-hmm. And that would be unbelievable.
Yeah, and well, that's what I would say is funny is, like I said, Watson wanted to go to Miami because of Flores, and if Flores were being interviewed by Houston, it would kind of just work out for him to stay.
I don't know. As far as the Houston Texans are concerned, I really love Davis Mills.
Right.
I do. I think the kid, I think they have something there with him. He broke David Carr's rookie pass record for them this past week. He looks good at certain moments, and especially with that thrown together offense. His only great wide receiver that he had was Brandon Cooks. So what he's done with that whole team, Davis Mills, great. Head coach, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to – I don't know what's going on because I'll list off the names in a little bit of available coaches.
We can stay on Houston for a while if you want to, but as far as culture goes, they brought in David Culley to fix the culture of it, and Davis Mills is who they see a future with, Definitely. I believe, for now. He showed his implications of what he can do against the Chargers, against the Browns whenever he came in for Tyrod Taylor, in that second game, just whenever he went down, talking about Taylor. So
yeah.
Davis Mills looks like a guy who can be pretty promising. He has a future, and he just has to grow. They just need to let him grow. He
made himself, if not a starting quarterback, and we'll move on, but if he made himself, if not the starter, he made himself great backup quarterback, good money in the NFL by what he did this last year.
Absolutely. But enough about the Texans.
Yeah.
Let's get into the rundown, and woo!
Oh my goodness.
Week 18 of the NFL is in the books, and thank you so much, Justin Herbert, for making us pay attention to you. 6 conversions on 7 fourth downs. Just wow. That's the most in a single game in 40 years.
Yeah, I think there was one fourth and 21 he threw it. He threw like 109 yards passing and 1 TD on 4th downs alone. That's look, let's just break this. We're going to get into the whole game. Look, I don't care. There's a lot of speculation on what happened in overtime, right? This game was incredible. Absolutely incredible. And I don't care what people say about the Chargers doing this, the timeout call, the head coach, all the going for it on 4th on their own 12-yard line or 18-yard line, but they came back in that game. Right. They were down bad, real bad. It was an absolutely phenomenal football game.
Hands down. It got the nation watching. It was so much fun. Our producer, Jason, is a huge soccer fan, which I know his team is out. But, Jason, did you at least catch this football game last night? No. You're like the only one in America, I feel like.
It was.
Because.
Oh, man, it was great. Yeah, he was working.
I know, I was too, but I got off yesterday. I was working, NBA team here in Houston, the Rockets game, and then I got off and went and watched this game. But just wow, it was incredible. You have playoff implications for 3 teams, really.
Yeah.
Because you have the Raiders and the Chargers. We all know the drill. If one of them would have won, which they did, then the Steelers are going in too. But if it ended in ties, Steelers were out. Raiders and Chargers going in. And let me tell you, just what the broadcasters were saying, why the heck would the Los Angeles Chargers and Stanley call a timeout?
Well,
that really changed the strategy of what they were going to do. They were going to kneel. We saw it in multiple conversations that the players were having after the game.
Yeah, they said,
what was even the thought process?
I don't know what Brandon Staley was. Brandon Staley, head coach of the Chargers. I don't know. What he said after the game was that he was trying to get the correct personnel in there, right? So I don't understand why he threw. And look, the Raiders still got the first down. He was trying to get run defense. The Raiders still got a first down. The Raiders had two timeouts left and they had Carlson as their kicker, the best kicker in the league, probably. I don't think that they would have not kicked the field goal.
He's never missed a field goal in that stadium.
I don't think that I understand and even after the game, Carr was like, well, the plan was we were just going to run out. But then the coaches found out that if they lost that game and they went into a tie, they would have to travel to Kansas City first round of the playoffs. Ouch. And instead, by winning the game, now they go play the Bengals. I mean, a little bit easier, if you ask me. But
are you sure about that?
Yeah, 100%.
We've been talking how great Joe Burrow has been.
Yeah, and
pass around him.
Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are on fire. It's going to be the first game in Cincinnati. This is incredible right here. So nobody in human history has ever sent a text about the Bengals winning a playoff game. Bengals' last playoff win was in 1991, and text messages were created in 1992.
Wow.
Oh, Lauren.
No, we're not saying that. I stopped myself on for a reason.
Right.
But last night's game, whenever we talk about it, whenever we look at it and we look at just what Justin Herbert was able to do. First off, I'm thinking, wow, this kid knows what he was doing. If he had the protection around him to make those plays. But then I'm like, Jeff, okay, what are your first thoughts? For me, personally, Raiders are selfish. What are you doing? And then I look at it and I say, well, you know what? Because of this, Big Ben gets a last playoff run ever.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
But then I say, what the frick?
Who do you want to see?
Why would the Raiders be making that decision because of Big Ben? No, they're making the decision because they want to win a game. And it makes him even more interesting whenever Michelle Fontoya was interviewing Derek Carr last night. And he said, I was talking to Aaron Rodgers this morning, and I was just telling him to win a game. And she was like, what?
It's funny.
What was that conversation about?
Look, first of all, you want to see you want to see Justin Herbert rather than Burger in the playoffs. You do. And I don't know, for those of y'all that think that NFL is fixed, if it was, they should have fixed this game because you don't want to see the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, trust me, Justin Herbert was trying to fix this game.
I mean, Herbert went off. I mean, look, you kind of saw the rise of a superstar in Justin Herbert last night. Like you really did. Now, Brandon Staley, look, going forward on 4th and 2 from your own 18, not the smartest move. I understand what he was trying to get done. Analytics and all that, but he shouldn't have gone 4th in. He should have punted the ball. And then the timeout in overtime, that's the big question mark, right? But things happen. It's week 18. This is crazy. It was week 18, the last game of the season. 3 teams are affected about the playoffs, and it's in overtime. And Pittsburgh's at home because Pittsburgh's only in because the Colts lost to the Jaguars, which was almost impossible. Just watching that game, Jacksonville I was unbelievable. Jacksonville played the best game they've ever had by far, and Trevor Lawrence went off against Indianapolis, and I was like, this is crazy. Pittsburgh must be loving this. And then
Trevor's like, I'm showing you what I can do. I'm coming back next season, bigger and better and badder.
Talk about a range of emotions for the Steelers. They're like, we're in, and then they're like, oh, except for a tie. Now you've got to – they were sitting at home like, waiting on that kick, like, oh my gosh. Like, just a wild weekend in sports. And if you go to the other side with the Oakland Raiders, what a season it's been for these guys.
I know.
This is unreal. Like, I mean, unbelievable all the stuff they've been through.
I have a list of it, too.
Let's go.
As far as John Gruden leaving, having to resign, and we still don't know what's going on with that. It's being investigated at the moment, but all of those emails and whatnot out there. So the latest from there, then you got players with DUIs and going to jail.
Yep.
Derek Carr comes out and says, you know what, we just need to show them some love. They need our love right now and support so that they can get through this. Interim coach comes in, Rich Bisaccia, I'm not sure if I said that correctly, comes in, and what does this say about the Raiders? Resiliency. It says strong, motivated, unmoved, unchanged. I mean,
the Raiders
have really overcome.
They're
10-7
adversity. Yeah, I mean, and it didn't go through their injuries. Josh Jacobs has been in and out, and he is their. Josh Jacobs and Darren Waller are their offense. I mean, Derek Carr's been amazing, but they've had Darren Waller for less than half the games this year. which is their stud tight end, their number one receiver, basically. And then you lose Josh Jacobs, your starting running back, for half the season as well, basically. How they came to a 10-7 record after all that you just mentioned and all their injuries is just unbelievable. One of the greatest stories of the NFL this year, like especially with Derek Carr and his belief system and the way that they've gone about things. It's just, I mean, it shows, like you said, resiliency and a great leadership ability of Derek Carr. And look, I don't know if this coach is going to stick with them or not, but if Jim Harbaugh comes up, and we'll get into the coaches in a minute, or somebody comes into this Raiders camp, they're coming into a really good situation. And
look, you were a Raiders fan going into the season. Yeah. You kind of backed off a bit. So, I mean, you got to be happy now, right?
Yeah, they started 5-2, right? And then the John Gruden thing, craziness, then they lose to Giants, they lose to the Chiefs, they lose to the Bengals. They beat the Cowboys, which was incredible in Dallas. Then they lost to Washington, which was a good team at that time. And then they got killed by the Chiefs. And then they run off 6 games in a row. Browns, Broncos, Colts, Chargers. 4 games in a row, I'm sorry, at the end of the season. The Browns, the Broncos, the Colts, and the Chargers. And those are great teams. Those are good football teams, and the Raiders beat them all. This is a good football team. Like, they are.
It came down to last night. Both teams were 9-7. And you look at the other side, too. We talked about how Justin Herbert just truly was just fantastic, outstanding in last night's game and this season. He was only drafted in 2020, number 6 overall in the first round. So Justin Herbert, he finished with 38 touchdowns, 5,014 yards, only 15 interceptions on this season. But wow, 5 seconds left, throws to Mike Williams, causes it to go into overtime, and this is what happened. Now, on the other side of the ball, who do you respect more out of both these teams?
See, and that's the thing, is that they weren't going to give the ball back to Herbert. They were going to run the clock. The Raiders had 2 timeouts.
That is the most defeating feeling, by the way.
I mean, yeah, when Justin's just sitting on like I said, when we started this conversation, you have to give credit where credit is due. The comeback by Herbert and the Chargers was unreal. Like, this ball game had everything, absolutely everything. And, Pittsburgh, like I said, was sitting at home like, oh, my God, are they really going to tie? And, there were rumors of them kneeling the ball down the entire – no football team would ever do that, by the way. I don't know who came up with that. That's not what these guys are born with.
Well, allegedly they were going to, by the videos that we saw of the conversations last night in postgame.
I couldn't believe that, because everybody had talked about it ending in a tie and them just kneeling down, that here we are at the end of regulation, 31-31. And then go through a whole overtime and it's still tied, and you're like, are you kidding me? Like, these guys left everything out there, man. Unreal.
I feel like tie was in both of these teams' mind, and they just knew that it was going to be a tie.
I don't know, man. The Chargers, 4th and 21, and he throws a touchdown. That's not
those 4th down conversions.
and the Raiders weren't just giving it up either. The Raiders were playing good defense. It was just a fantastic look. That game is top 5 probably of all time, and not only because of the way it was played, but the implications. And
that's what makes it that way. Yeah. That's what makes it so compelling, so different, so unique, is because of the playoff implications, because it's the last game of the season.
Yeah, and you've got Raiders and Chargers. I mean, look, these 2 teams go at it. They're in the same division. This is a divisional game. And you got the Pittsburgh Steelers hanging in the balance, and Ben Roethlisberger's his career was over or kept going by Dan Carlson's leg. Like, that's what was Ben doing? Where was Ben Roethlisberger before that field goal? Like, just
I
an
wish
incredible
there was
football
a video.
game.
Whenever you do draft night and you have like a video in the players' homes. I wish there was one last night for Big Ben.
Yeah, like, where was he? Was he?
Was he like with his family? He's like, his whole family like praying with all the kids.
Yeah, because I bet he didn't sit down. I bet he was pacing wherever he was. But look, an incredible football game, and congratulations to the Oakland Raiders. Or I'm sorry, the Las Vegas Raiders. Wow,
right?
Old school. But just unbelievable football game. Way to go, Vegas. They're in the playoffs now, and they'll be out in the first round.
Yeah. Speaking of being out, we talked about some of the coaches that got the pink slip today. We can go through those and what it means for these organizations. So we have the Dolphins and Brian Flores, as we mentioned to Sean Watson earlier. They have a connection there, and that's why Watson wanted to go to Miami. But, he's gone. Flores' third season. They were 1-8 to start the season, and then no one's ever done this. 7 consecutive wins after that. I mean, good job, Tua. Good job, that team, for being able to do that.
Good job,
That's
Brian
incredible.
Flores. Brian Flores, I cannot believe they let him go. He's going to be a great coach. Like I said at the start of the show, there's no reason for him to be fired. He won 7 of his last 8 games with a really depleted Dolphins team, and Tua Tagovailoa injured. Look, he won last year with Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I love Ryan. Don't get me wrong. Like, everybody knows that. But Brian Flores is an incredible head coach. Like, this guy will get more chances, and I think I heard it on I was watching one of the shows today. He needs to be on a beach, sipping a drink, watching the playoffs, and waiting for that phone call because somebody's going to call him with a lot of money. He won 7 of his 8 last games, and I want to read off the teams
that's what I was just about to read off.
Read them. It's unbelievable.
But it is, but it's not. So they started the winning streak over the Texans, 17-9, and then they beat the Ravens,
who had Lamar.
After Jets, and then after that they beat the Panthers, which is pretty good. They beat the Giants after that, and then the Jets again, and then the Saints. Then the Titans were beaten by the Titans, and then won their final game against the Patriots, 33-24.
They beat the Patriots twice this year. They beat they lost to the Bills. I thought they beat the Bills. They lost to the Bills in a 35-0
loss to the Bills.
That's at the second game of the season. Yeah, I mean, it just the Texans. Okay, Ravens great win. Jets and Panthers. I forgot if Cam
Newton was back or not.
By the way, did you see what he came out with today?
What do you mean?
He's getting ready for 2022.
Why?
Swear to God.
Why is he not? Why?
Cam Newton?
I mean, he got his $10 million this year, right?
God.
If he hit all those incentives, I'm not sure that he did or not. But it was a one-year contract. I'm not sure of the incentives, like I just said. But why wouldn't he be getting ready for 2022?
Because he's not a good quarterback.
We saw the workout videos, all of his time off.
Everybody saw Devontae Adams.
Saying, he'll be doing that too. Devontae Adams. What?
Yeah, because he was like, stop posting videos on Instagram and go play. Like, that's what he's telling all the high school, because all these high school kids have all these highlight videos and whatever. And he's like, look, we don't post videos on Instagram. We play football, which I loved it,
That's
but
great.
Cam Newton wants to play in 2022. But I digress. The Miami Dolphins, Brian Flores, incredible head coach. There will be plenty of jobs waiting on him, and there's a lot of openings, and there will be more.
Right. I will say his record ended with 24-25. They are keeping the GM Chris Grier there, so he'll remain with the Dolphins in that role. So they're looking for a new head coach. We'll see what goes there. I want to ask this. He was there for 3 seasons. We saw what he did this year after seven straight wins, after 7 straight losses, never done. Is 3 seasons a good judgment time for a coach?
Not with Miami. No, they've look
in general.
All of the teams in the playoffs have great quarterbacks. He's never had a great quarterback. Like, you have to have a good quarterback or a B+ quarterback in order to make it to the playoffs, or at least to be a good head coach. Tua's like a C right now at minimum or at maximum. Like, Tua's not that. He's injured for one. He's small. He's got a lot of work to do now. That's why I'm saying Brian Flores' record with what he had to work with is fantastic. You give him a great quarterback, and you give him a healthy Devontae or Parker, and
So you think this is going to be like a Sean McVay situation, to where you get rid of Jared Goff, you bring in Matthew Stafford, and you're like, oh my gosh, yes, this guy works in the system, he knows what he's doing, and we can win some games.
Yeah, I'm going to be really, really interested to see where he goes. He's going to go somewhere for sure, because like you said, I mean, we're going to go through the other openings, but I mean, there's going to be more than these 6 that we're talking about right now.
Speaking of Tua, like you said, in and out this season with being injured or not, he only finished with 16 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Look, for Brian Flores, considering he doesn't really have a quarterback.
Yeah,
and that's incredible. So again, I think he's going to go just fine.
Very, very true. If you're out there listening, I want to know how many seasons or how many years do you is acceptable to kind of judge or have a coach in there before getting on the hot seat to get fired, pretty much, yeah. Just curious. So that was 3 seasons. Mike Zimmer with the Minnesota Vikings, 8 seasons with the Vikings, and he was the 3rd winningest coach in the franchise history. He had a great, compelling record of 72, 56, and 1 tie. So not a bad record at all. Why was he let go?
I just think that they want a different system. It's time to move forward. They haven't done very well in the past 8 years, and nothing.
But do you put that on Kirk Cousins?
I don't know.
I
and again, here we go with the B+ quarterback. Kirk Cousins is not a B+ quarterback. He's got A+, but he's not an A+ quarterback. He's about a B to a C+ quarterback. And look, they had Dalvin Cook. You got Justin Jefferson. You got Adam Thielen. Yeah, like that team should be in the playoffs. For 100% should. Ryan Tannehill and the Tennessee Titans were way better than the Minnesota Vikings, and the Minnesota Vikings have more talent. So I think that's the reason that Zimmer's probably gone now, is they want a different system in there, because Dalvin Cook's incredible. He's a top 5 running back. You've got Justin Jefferson, top 5 wide receiver. You've got I don't know. That's the only reason. Adam Thielen's top 10 wide receiver. I don't know why they didn't do better. They failed at a lot of close games, and Zimmer got the axe.
Vincent Cabillo says 5 years. Sorry if I mispronounce your name, Vincent, but you say 5 years. Cabello. 5 years is what you should put on a coach before letting them go.
This is the
current. The thing is, this is the current year. This is not way back in the day. And as far as that just reminded me, because we were talking about the Raiders with Derek.
In the Mike Tomlin era.
Well, Derek Carr said he wanted to retire with the Raiders. We'll see if that happens too. But as far as coaching goes, 5 years. I feel like that's a long time for today's society. You talk about college football.
Brian Flores had 3, like you just said. I mean, John Gruden had what, half season or whatever. John
Gruden was with the Raiders.
For
a while.
But I'm saying, you don't get, if you're not winning, and I'm a John Gruden situation completely different. But if you're not winning, they'll axe you after the first season. They will. That's just the current NFL. That's college these days with coaches just jumping ship and going somewhere. It's wild, man. And we'll get into the
transfer portal. But that's a conversation for actually a little bit later on the show. So stay tuned for that. But all right. So Mike Zimmer's gone. Like I said, 8 seasons there. So that passed yours of 5 years, Vincent. Okay, we go to the Bears. Matt Nagy, who was supposed to be let go after the Thanksgiving Day game. We all knew it was coming. They finished with a 6-11 record, and the general manager is gone as well for Ryan Pace. They were fired today, and Nagy was just with the Bears for 4 seasons. But you also look at what he was given as well. Well,
I mean, I don't know. That's another good situation a coach is going to walk into. Justin Fields didn't play that bad. And, I mean, if you want to start from they have building blocks there in Chicago. They're not terrible, but they have Montgomery's a great running back. And so they've got some building blocks there in Chicago. That is a good head coach position to walk into, unlike say like Jacksonville, something like that, or Houston, which is a nightmare. There's a bunch of bad situations.
You talk about Mitchell Trubisky too. It's not like he was the most amazing talent ever.
No,
that was drafted in 2017 to the Bears. So, coaching, players, of course, it goes both ways.
There's a lot of talk about Harbaugh and Chicago Bears, if I'm a Bears fan, yes. Look, Jim Harbaugh, of the list of coaches that are available, Jim Harbaugh's right there at the top. I mean, he's unbelievable.
And that's where I was going to go after this is, where are you looking to for all of these coaching hires? A lot of offensive coordinators that teams will be pulling from, asking permission to interview coaches, but doesn't make sense to come from the collegiate level.
Well,
we saw Urban Meyer was a complete fail.
But Jim Harbaugh's already going to the Super Bowl. He already coached San Francisco. He's already made his stamp.
Went up.
He went
came
back
down. Came back up.
Here's your notable coaches. Defensive coordinators wise, Leslie Frazier of the Bills, Todd Bowles of the Tampa Bay, Raheem Morris of the LA Rams, Dennis Allen of the Saints, Vance Joseph of the Cardinals. Dan Quinn is actually being really, really sought after right now, the Cowboys, and Matt Uberlis of the Colts. Now, offensive wise, here's the notables out there for coaching wise. If offensive coordinators, Brian Daboll, Byron Leftwich of the Tampa Bay Bucks, Eric Bieniemy, and he's always on there, Josh McDaniels of the Patriots, Nathaniel Hackett, who's gotten a couple of requests today from the Green Bay Packers, Kellen Moore of the Cowboys, and then, of course, like I just said, Jim Harbaugh being the only head coach, but at collegiate level, trying to make a move. Well, we don't know if he's going to make the move or not. There's just a lot of rumors that he is.
Would you say that Matt Rule has been successful coming up from the collegiate level to the Carolina Panthers?
No.
From Baylor?
No, look, you've got Christian McCaffrey. I mean, you had Cam Newton, who you believed in. That defense is still incredible. So no, Matt Rule has not made his stamp on the NFL yet. Not at all.
Just curious about that. All right. Yeah, I was going to name Eric Bieniemy because, of course, he was interviewed by like 8 teams last year.
But yeah.
So the big one that was a big question mark yesterday that was all over the headlines was Denver Broncos Vic Fangio, and he was 3 seasons there, never had a winning season. He finished 19-30. So he had to finish the season with a 4-game losing streak, which was terrible, 7-10. They fell to the Chiefs on Saturday, 28-24. I will say that was a really fun game, but that does not give me hope in the Kansas City Chiefs moving forward into the playoffs. Now, the Broncos, they won Super Bowl 50, but that was 6 years ago. And guess what? They have not been back to the playoffs since. Ouch. They've really got to find their pace. They really got to find their rhythm with a new head coach, come in there, change the culture. And they got to find some talent, too. As far as the targets goes, you kind of don't have many names that jump out to you.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of friends in Denver, and I lived there for a short period of time, a couple years, and they were really excited today. Denver needs a re situation. John Elway's got complete control of that team. I don't expect them to be down for too long. Denver's a hard place to play. You find the right quarterback and you get in the right system, and you're ready to go. Yep. Teddy Bridgewater was there. I mean, he was doing good when he was in there. The problem is he just couldn't stay healthy. Mm-hmm. And, so if your quarterback can't stay healthy, again, I'll go back to it. All the teams in the playoffs have great quarterbacks. I mean, that's what wins in the NFL. You have to have a B-plus quarterback to make the playoffs.
What happens to defense wins championships?
That's in the championship game, of course. But it takes a great quarterback to get there. Aside from like Jimmy Garoppolo.
Okay, Al Vincent changed his answer and says, or 2 years if the owner wants to open up the pocketbook.
Yeah.
All of them have money.
Yeah.
They can do whatever they want. But what a way to dissipate after winning a Super Bowl 50 and then not making it to the playoff for 6 straight years after that.
Here's the coaching positions that I have open so far. Chicago, Miami, Vikings, Denver, Las Vegas, Jacksonville, and what may be Houston. So you're looking at 7 to 8 coaching jobs that will be available. That's 1/4 of the
coming
NFL.
From offensive coordinators and DCs as well within the NFL, right? You're not really saying Jim Harbaugh's the only collegiate player, only coach rather, to come up.
He's the only big name for sure. And look, if Jim Harbaugh is available and you're any one of those teams, that's who you want. Like, I mean, he's successful in the NFL. He's an incredible coach, and he can. I mean, Jim Harbaugh is what you want. The other guys, Eric Bieniemy, if you're working on your offense, but you got to have the right quarterback. Quarterback systems work together, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. And then you got to figure out in Jacksonville. Like, the reason Jim Harbaugh would be good in Chicago, he likes the cold weather. He likes up there. He's been in Michigan. That's a great fit for him. But Jacksonville, who's going to coach that team? With Trevor Lawrence and that system, you don't know. I mean, they've got James Robinson. They've got some good weapons down there too, but it's all about the coach and the quarterback fitting in the right system. And you got to find that mold. Mm-hmm. It's got to be a sports with balls. Lauren Leal, Jeff Michael. It's got to work.
Oh, okay. I like it.
Thomas, thoughts on Jalen Hurts. This guy's been asking me about Jalen Hurts forever, man.
Okay.
He didn't play Sunday. There's my thought.
I think he's really grown. Yeah. I think he's really grown as a quarterback. You're going to be happy with what you have. But right now, you were doing all the grades earlier, and I was starting to think, we need to do this. We need a grade. We need a grade each week, or at least per month throughout the season,
sure.
Jeff, as far as these quarterbacks go. But what would you grade him? I'd say a B.
Jalen? Yeah, he's about a B, a C plus B. Because they're so run heavy, and again, they throw a lot of short passes. He's not a long ball thrower, even though he's got a cannon. He just insists on what they're doing right now. Philadelphia is going to be an interesting team in the playoffs. It's going to be fun to watch. I mean, and we're about to get into all that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Even though, the Cowboys stomped all over them this weekend.
Oh, they didn't have anybody in.
All right, let's, Jalen Hurts finished with 16 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He had 3,144 yards.
That's B.
He didn't play for a couple of those games. He didn't play for about 4 or 5 of those games. So, anyways, let's move on because guess what? The playoffs are set, baby, for the 2021 season, and we are getting closer and closer to the Super Bowl. Oh, my gosh, I can't wait.
Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. It's going to be a blast. It's going to, and this is the first time ever they've got Monday Night Football playoffs. Like, this is phenomenal. I'm excited. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, let's go. Let's get into them.
All right. Like we said, they are set. So we got wild card weekend coming up in the AFC playoff bracket. I think is the more intriguing of the games,
which is weird.
There's some really good teams.
That's so. 3 weeks ago, because we always had NFC, Fab Five. They're all in the NFC, and now you've got these AFC teams. And these matchups they're real interesting. All of them, every one of them.
They're great. So we got the number 2 Chiefs who finished 12-5. They'll host the Steelers on Sunday.
Okay, except for that one. I'm sorry. Look, I'm sorry, but there's not a chance.
Jasmine, you were oh my gosh, I'm sorry if I just screamed in your ears. You were so excited about this.
And then you bring up that game. Like, you could have just skipped over that game.
It's the first one.
Oh my God. Yeah, it should be. It should be at 8 a.m. Like, just get it out of the way. Like
it's a London game.
Yes. I mean, dude, the Pittsburgh, look, Ben Roethlisberger can barely stand back there anymore. I'm sure he's hurting at this point in the season.
He's going to give it
his all. I love
all.
Najee. Yeah, well, his all is like 2 steps and just chunking the ball. Like, he was so off.
Hey, it's more than you can do.
No, it's not. I can throw the ball still.
All right, let's get into the next one.
Well, hold on. The line on that, because it's the highest one, obviously. The line on the Pittsburgh Steelers game, what is it, 13?
I don't have any of the betting
lines. It is 12.5. I almost guessed it right.
Wow.
Yeah, Chiefs minus. I would take Chiefs minus 20 almost.
I mean, they're at home in Arrowhead.
Yeah, and the Steelers, look, they don't even deserve to be in the playoffs. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sorry. I love I like Big Ben, and I love Big Ben, but they if you go through all the playoff teams, the Steelers are the ones that stand out, and you're like, they really shouldn't be in there.
We can get more and break down these games as we get closer to the weekend too. It's just Monday, but they are set. Number 3, Bills. So they finished 11-6. They'll be hosting the New England Patriots on Saturday.
What a football game that's going to be. We all remember the 3-pass game, right? It was dumping snow. It was 30-mile-an-hour winds, and Mac Jones threw 3 passes. It will be different.
Low scoring. I would definitely go under.
It'll be different this game.
Whatever the line is set at.
Right now, you have Buffalo -4, the over-under at 43. So obviously, they're expecting a way better game because look, that last time they only threw the ball 3 times because you couldn't throw.
It was a blizzard.
40-mile-an-hour winds in a blizzard.
Can you believe the Patriots won that game with two passes?
This is gonna
Mac Jones.
This is gonna sound crazy, but early thoughts from me are I'm taking the Patriots because they can run the football. The Bills cannot run the football.
Correction, Josh Allen can run the football.
But what does Bill Belichick do the best? He takes away your best weapon. And he will take away Stefon Diggs. He will. Stefon Diggs probably won't have the best game because Bill Belichick will take him away, and then he'll shadow Josh Allen. And I got a feeling the Patriots going to control the clock. I would go under on this too, and I would take the Patriots.
That's a good call. It is in Buffalo, but the Patriots are used to the cold weather anyway. So
Thomas knows what's up. He said I could still throw it into the trash can from across the street. Yes, I can. I'll do it this week.
You know what? Jeff posted that video for all of you new listeners.
I posted a few of them.
I was gonna say he posted a lot of these videos. He's very proud of his throwing arm. He tosses it in the cul-de-sac with his son, and will make it all the way in the bucket.
50 yards in a trash can. You do it. Everybody talks about that, but whatever. Go. Follow us, Sports with Balls, on any media. Look us up, podcasts, anything. Please share the show if you're listening to it now, or if you're listening to it in your podcast, you like what. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, please, on all of our stuff. And we got exciting news later on this week as well.
Absolutely. SWB, we are here for it. Let's get into the next game. Number 4, the Bengals finished 10-7. And you talked about this earlier. Now they're going to be hosting the Raiders, and that's going to be a very fun Saturday. That's at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. And woo!
That's another great football game.
Raiders will be traveling to Cincinnati. Weather will be an effect here, but man, wow. This is going to be a fun game to unpack.
Yeah.
I haven't even put my complete thoughts into this just because we're just announcing the schedule. As I said, we're going to talk deeper into the games on Thursday.
With everything that went on yesterday, nobody's had a chance to even dive into these games yet because of what happened in San Francisco and L.A. We'll talk about that in a minute. And what happened at the Raiders and Chargers game at the end of the night. We're trying to dissect all the coach firings today. Nobody's actually gotten a chance to get into these games yet. These games, like you said, are awesome. This Raiders-Bengals game, the Raiders are healthy, so watch out.
So that will lead into the divisional round. So the lowest remaining seed will face the number 1 Titans, and then the highest remaining seed will host the second lowest seed left. All right, let's get into the NFC playoff bracket.
by the way, Cincinnati putting -6. The over-under for this game is 49.5. They expect a high-flying game in Cincinnati.
You know what? It's Monday. I could see the line changing throughout the week. I can definitely see the line changing.
That crowd in Cincinnati will be absolutely bananas. Like, I mean, it's going to be jungle in there. Yeah, you see that? What I did there?
It'll be a jungle
in Cincinnati with the Bengals. Jungle, Bengals. See, anyways. And again, I'm going to read this. Nobody in human history has ever.
Love cats,
nobody in human history has ever sent a text message about the Bengals winning a playoff game because last Bengals playoff 91 and text messages were invented in 1992. So in Cincinnati at home playoff game, that for me. If I were to go to any one of these games, I would go to that one.
Are you sure they were invented in 1992? Text messages?
Yes, yep. That's what my research tells me. I mean, I'm not Bill Gates, but you know.
No, I'm just because I'm thinking about it. And cell phones, I guess, came out in the 80s, but it was literally like those giant. Or I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I'm a millennial. Sorry.
Oh.
Okay.
Ouch.
NFC playoff bracket. Let's get to it. So we got the number 2 Buccaneers, and they're hosting the Eagles. You talked about Jalen Hurts. Wait, is Thomas? It was Thomas, right? Is Thomas an Eagle fan?
Thomas Quinlan is a Chicago Bear fan. Thomas Kim is a Eagle fan. Yes.
Okay. So we'll see your Jalen Hurts in action against Tom Brady. Good luck there. You know, one thing about Tom Brady is you don't bet against him, even though no AB. No, my God.
That game, let's see. Right now, you've got Tampa Bay -8.5. And the over/under at 49 as well. I would go under. Plus, I would take the Eagles and the points. I
was just listening to Tom Brady talk about this game.
The Eagles are sneaky. Like, they are sneaky. They run the football, and Tampa Bay has problems with teams that can run the football. And
So you're saying this is really going to fall on the defense of the Bucs?
Yeah, and the defense of the Bucs is not even close to what it was last year.
The run defense.
Not even close. Now, Vuavea in the middle in there is awesome, but I would bet that this game is closer. Now, I think that Tampa Bay was going to win this game, but I don't think they're going to win by 9-10 points. So I think I would take the Eagles.
Okay. All right, let's get to the next one, and that is the number 3 Dallas Cowboys. Finished the season 12-5 with a huge win over the Eagles this weekend. They'll be hosting the number 6 49ers, who were 10-7. And Jerry's World, earlier you mentioned San Francisco kind of running away with this one. But I don't know about it. I think it's going to be a very, very tight game.
That game yesterday, San Francisco and the LA Rams, one of the best games of the day. The Rams were up 17-0 at one point. And get this, the Rams have won 45 straight games when leading at halftime. 45 straight. And San Francisco has lost 49 straight games when losing by 17 points or more. And that whole script got reversed. Jimmy Garoppolo, 7 plays, 88 yards, touchdown, and everybody hates OG, but the guy's been in the Super Bowl and
experience,
and he doesn't get phased. Jimmy Garoppolo he doesn't care about it.
If you're only listening, you don't see me holding up my thumb.
Yes,
he does have an injured thumb.
But I mean,
how much does that play into effect?
Deebo Samuel. I mean, this guy is unreal.
Absolutely.
He is the X factor in every single game that San Francisco play. He threw a touchdown. He runs touchdowns and he catches touchdowns. Wow. He's the Cordell Patterson of the San Francisco 49ers, but they're in the playoffs. The guy's phenomenal. I'm excited to watch this 49ers and Cowboys game. Dallas, it's Dallas -3 right now, but it's -3 points at home regardless every time. So they're calling this, just like you just said, a pick'em game. Like it's up in the air. Of the matchups the Cowboys could have got in, this is the worst one. This is a bad matchup for the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, you were talking about the 49ers over the Rams yesterday, 27-24. That's what the next game is. The number 4 Rams, who finished 12-5. They'll host the number 5 Cardinals, and I think that's going to be a very compelling game. That is going to be a very fun game to watch, to see. Matthew Stafford has never been in this situation with the Lions. So let's see what he can do with Sean McVay. I mean, What is the line on this one? I have not looked into the betting lines, as I mentioned a minute ago.
It's Rams -4.
Okay.
And man, the X factor in this game, Cooper Kupp. The guy is he's double teamed every time, and he still gets 130 yards receiving. This guy is awesome.
He's a beast.
Yeah, and Matt Stafford has now quarterbacked both the top 2 yardage receiving leaders in the NFL. He was Calvin Johnson's quarterback, and now he's Cooper Kupp's quarterback. 1 and 2 on the chart. Cooper Kupp barely missed winning the yardage, most yards in a year by, I think it was 16 yards by a wide receiver. Cardinals and Rams, yes, that's Monday night game. It's going to be high flying. It's only at 50 points. I mean, that's not a lot. The Cowboys 49ers game at 51. That and the Cardinals-Rams game.
Well, after what the Cowboys did yesterday, are you kidding me?
I'm interested to see if J.J. Watt makes it back for this game. He could actually play a pretty. And now I'm sure he's going to be on limited capacity, but he could actually play a decent role, especially after watching his brother T.J. Watt tie the sack record. He's going to be inspired, and J.J. Watt can change a game.
He's going to be inspired, and yes, he can. We saw him do it many times in Houston, and of course, season before going down with the injury, but. Honestly, I don't know. You say he could be a huge impact. I really don't know with that injury. But I think it's going to be a very, very fun game to watch.
It definitely will be fun. I hope Matt Stafford gets a playoff win.
Me too.
I really, really do. He deserves it, but I don't trust him. I trust Kyler Murray more than I trust Matthew Stafford because Kyler Murray can get those third down conversions with his leg. And Matt Stafford makes some really ill-advised throws sometimes. And turnovers in the playoffs are huge.
Oh, yeah.
Huge. So you can't do it. And I'm afraid that Matt Stafford might throw a few.
Of course, you can't take away the ball. You can't put it out of your hands like yourself doing it. So, no turnovers, no takeaways that we want to see from Matt Stafford on that front. But things started, you saw the Rams throughout the season just going up. What happens? They acquire OBJ, and then they start having all this weird stuff start happening. Not weird as in, some of the Raiders instances, but as far as losses that shouldn't have happened.
Well, OBJ he looks decent out there right now, and they're getting Cam Akers back. So, health plays a big role in the playoffs. And if they're healthy, they're going to give Arizona all they can handle. That's going to be a fun game to watch. So all these games are pretty fun except for Steelers and Chiefs.
Now,
it doesn't seem to be that fun.
As far as the divisional round goes, so the lowest remaining seed will face the number 1 Packers, and then the highest remaining seed will host the second lowest seed. Wow, I was shocked. I looked at Packers score yesterday. But,
there were some shocking games yesterday. Nothing more shocking than the Colts losing it. How in the hell? That was the worst game of the season for that takes the cake. I can't imagine. I think before that it was the Texans beating the Texans
Chargers.
beat? The Chargers. I was just absolutely shocked. But
the
Jaguars beating the Colts, just unbelievable. And Carson Wentz fumbled, interception, terrible, and they just didn't hand the ball off to Jonathan Taylor enough. It was just I don't know. Frank Reich, wow, they must be calling for him to be fired because that was terrible. You don't do that. You cannot win and end in the playoffs, and you're playing the worst team in the NFL, and they beat you.
Yeah. Yeah, and what does it even mean for Jacksonville? Nothing.
And look, everybody before Week 18, including myself, was on the NFL about this Week 18 thing, adding an extra game. Oh, these games aren't going to mean anything. It's a bunch of incentives, and a lot of players. Speaking of, way to go, Brady, for getting Gronk $1 million. That was pretty cool.
Yep.
But this Week 18 was phenomenal.
The thing is, what we said going into it for Thursday's game, Jeff, was that this is going to be like a preseason game. We're not going to see all the stars out there. It's not going to be a star-studded cast. For the most part, it was.
It was. It was full-on football.
Because we thought guys were going to be, saving themselves for the playoffs.
You had, at the end of every football game this year, out of all the football games, the last game played was the most important game for 3 teams and went into overtime and was won by a field goal. The whole season went down to that one play in Week 18. That was phenomenal. Way to go for the NFL.
Now, Chewy says the worst game was the Steelers beating the Ravens for the second time. That was kind of expected.
The game was boring.
It was kind of expected, yeah.
All right, we got a few minutes here. There is a huge football game coming on tonight, and we will get to it. I know all of y'all have been waiting. We got a few minutes. Lauren, let's hear it.
I'm so excited. I mean, of course, it's the same two teams, the best teams that we've seen, Alabama, Georgia, going at it once again in this championship game. You got Bryce Young, and you got the 7-time winning championship coach in
Nick Saban.
And then you got Kirby Smart and the Dogs going off that have a strong run game. And, of course, Nick Saban and Alabama Crimson Tide are very strong through the air. So who am I going with? I mean, hands down, I got to go with Alabama.
Show me the money. Yeah,
it's kind of like Tom Brady. You don't go against Tom Brady. Well, you don't vote against Nick Saban.
I'm taking the coach and the quarterback, right? You got the Heisman Trophy winner. Granted, they lost their best wide receiver to injury, but it's Alabama. They've got 20 of them. I love Nick Saban in these games, and I'm going to go with them right now. It's people are jumping on Georgia because the line went to -2.5 now. So I still like Alabama and the over.
It's only been 37 days since these teams have faced each other, so they know what they can do. They know what they're dealing with. They have the tape on them. We'll see how it plays out tonight. I think Georgia will put up a fight. It won't be like the last matchup that they against one another when Alabama ran away with it. But it's going to be a fun game. And I'm taking Bama.
Bama too. If he win a phenomenal. I mean, he is phenomenal. I think that Georgia will come out fighting. I really, really do. But in the end, Alabama's offense, I think, is too much. And it's only 2.5. It's Georgia -2.5. I'm taking. I don't even know. Screw the 2.5 points. I'm taking Alabama to win straight up. And usually when people do this, it sometimes fires back. But I'm pretty confident that Alabama, they beat the brakes off of them 30 days ago. So I don't know how they're going to change.
Yeah, and we talk about all of the coaching changes in the NFL. Well, this could turn into college as well, as we see with the transfer portal we mentioned earlier. But Kirby Smart, if they lose this again 2 times in one season, we'll see.
Yeah,
Will he be on the hot seat?
Bama's got it, man. That game's about to start. That means we are about to stop, man. Incredible show. It's an hour. Like, that's wild. That went quick.
That went very, very quick. When we can get into college football a little bit later on in this week or next month, whenever it is.
I can't wait. Thursday's show is going to be phenomenal. We're going to talk about transfer portal, get into a bunch of different stuff on Thursday. It should be fun, and we'll break this game down.
The look of sports has changed completely, but yes, enjoy your championship game. I know we're going to. I'm going to go home, watch it, cook a little bit, and enjoy me some Monday Night Football. Not NFL, but college.
Yeah. For Jeff Michael, Lauren Leal, this is Sports with Balls, y'all. We out of here.
See ya.
Sweet, 'cause this is how we do it in that 713. My candy red paint cocked up on foe. Shocking and body